The violence in Portland has now reached outside my door. That's what I'll be talking about today. Hi, my name is Todd. I want to thank you for tuning into the Jack channel one more time. I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. And what I am talking about today is Saturday, midday-ish. I think it was around 2 o'clock, maybe 3. I'm not exactly positive on the time, as I was sitting in my garage working on a mini quad. And while I'm sitting here, I hear a bang, 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 bang that came from down the street. And I turned and looked out my garage door, which you can see behind me, because it was open at the time. And a blue BMW with 4 black males blew through the stop sign on the corner. My house lives on a corner street here in Ashland. Blew past the stop sign at a very high rate of speed and accelerated and went up the road behind me. And as they went by, there were 2 black males in the back seat looking like they're trying to hunker down in the car a little bit. And the passenger of the front was slightly bent over, looking like he was shoving something under his seat in his car. And they took off. And I went down the street that direction, which would be towards the west, to see if any of my neighbors had been hit or their houses had been hit. Now, my instinct as a former paramedic and firefighter was to run to the scene to make sure nobody was hurt or injured, and to render any aid that I could potentially do. Meanwhile, I had my wife calling 911, and in the time that I had her trying to call 911, she wasn't listening to me very well, and it sounds like I missed the license plate number up. And it's possible that I did that, or it's entirely possible they actually took a license plate off another vehicle and put it on theirs. I'm not sure which, but let's just say the license plate number that I got and that I had her try and give to the police ended up coming back to a vehicle other than that blue BMW. Now, based off the fact that it was a BMW and it had 4 doors, I'm pretty positive it was a BMW 335. But that's neither here nor there. What is important is now we had a shooting. And at the same time we had that shooting, less than probably 4 blocks away, the police got another report at the same time of a silver Prius firing off rounds at what used to be a Fred Meyer just down the street from our house. Now, it's disconcerting that that transpired. And so we waited around for the police to show up, and eventually one police officer did show up. And he informed me when he got out of the car if I had any plans to go to 122nd and Halsey Street. And I told him no. And he goes, oh, good, because that's where the rioters are at. They're located at 122nd and Halsey, and they're creating quite a ruckus right now. And I would advise you not to head that direction. He says, well, I got no plans to go there anyway. What really has me troubled was his next statement. And this will actually make me think twice now to run into the scene the next time I hear a shooting. And he cautioned us to run out our doors as soon as we see or hear a shooting take place. He says because these people have an MO in this town of driving around the block, fire off rounds, and they will circle back by to see who's outside and to shoot in their direction. Fortunately, these 4 black males did not make that move. And it sounded like from a couple of my other neighbors that they went on past the park that I live near. Also at a high rate of speed, continuing to run through stop signs. So now we've had shooting outside our front door. Or should I say, outside my garage door. And what it sounds like took place is what the police officer had described. Now, it was quite obvious they weren't shooting directly at a house because none of the houses in the area were actually hit. So they were obviously shooting up in the air. But what comes up must come down. And I would not be surprised that if with the next rainfall we get here in Portland, some houses might have some leaky roofs from taking around that comes back down. And it's possible they came down and did no harm to anything. But it's the fact that it was just a few blocks down the street. And I was the only one that got a description of who the potential shooters were. And I seriously doubt anybody will ever be arrested for this crime. And yes, it is a crime. Unlawful discharge of a firearm being one. But it has me concerned that the next time something like this happens, I won't be really quick to run down the street to render aid if it's needed. Because I will always keep in mind what the officer had stated, and that's they go back around the block to target those who come out. So when's our mayor in this town gonna wake up? There's a problem in this town. And by the way, the same time I was standing there down the street trying to locate the rounds, which I did, located the cases on the ground, the cartridges. I guess it's not a cartridge at that point because the bullet was expensive, so it was just a case. Located those on the ground, and I prevented cars from driving over them, directing them to go to the opposite side of the street as they went by. And we stood around waiting. And one of the other neighbors was also trying to make a 911 phone call. So apparently the 911 system got flooded with phone calls. Probably, sorry for the hiccups, probably got flooded because of the 2 shootings at the same time. And it took the neighbor that was outside with me over 3 minutes to get a hold of the 911 system. And it took probably 4 minutes, 5, maybe greater. I'm estimating at least 6 minutes for the officer to actually show up. And he also stated that one of the reasons they probably fired off rounds over here was to flood our neighborhood with police as a way of distraction from the crime that they're about to commit. So they drive by this neighborhood, fire off rounds, and go to another part of the city, hoping to commit a crime and get away with it. Because the police will all be down here investigating the shooting that they just transpired. Now, in this moment, there were 2 shootings within less than a mile of my house. First one, block down the street. Second one, Fred Meyer's maybe 3-4 blocks away, or the former Fred Meyer. The point is, the violence is real. Fortunately, none of my neighbors were hit. And fortunately, no one was injured. But the officer said that's the third shooting he responded to on that day. The third shooting. It's Portland. And apparently 2 people were injured. Now, I tried to watch the news to see if they would even report on the shooting that took place in my own neighborhood or the one that took place over at the old Fred Meyer. I couldn't find a story. I didn't bring this up yesterday because I searched for more stories to see if, by chance, they're actually reporting on these incidences. Not that I could find. It's not to say that one didn't, but I didn't find it. So there you have it. City of Portland is not peaceful. And the police officer said that the people that were, quote, protesting were creating quite a ruckus, a disturbance. And it wasn't protesting. It says they were being violent, and therefore I should avoid that area. And what I actually found interesting more than anything is that neighbor I said that was out on the street with me trying to call 911 actually doesn't live in the area. He was visiting another gal that lives on another street. Him and his girlfriend, I guess, he was with another gal. They didn't actually live in the house where the shooting took place, or out in front of the house where the shooting was at. He actually had the nerve to tell the police officer that showed up that he's been actively downtown protesting nightly, and that he works for search and rescue. Now, I think it's great. He's out to be willing to help search for people when they get lost or get in trouble up in the mountains or go up on Mount Hood in the middle of wintertime, get themselves caught in the snow. I'm glad he's out there doing that. But I want to say is, why are you protesting the police? Because as soon as a shooting took place outside, you're on the phone trying to get a hold of 911. And it just didn't make sense to me that here an incident takes place and you want the police to show up, yet at the same time, you're out protesting them. I don't get what's going through your mind. And the police officer was distraught to the point that he kind of said rather jokingly, but in a very boisterous voice, well, why the hell are you protesting me? And then he responds, I'm not protesting you, but you must admit the system is broken. Yeah, the system's broken. And it's been broken because of the Democratic leadership and not allowing the police to do their jobs. That's where the system is broken. Anyway, I thought I would just share that real quick. Shooting just down the street from my house. And what's it going to take for Ted Wheeler to finally wake up? Have those shootings in the air, which also apparently the one at Fred Meyer, the shots were also fired up in the air because no houses, businesses, cars, or people were hit. What's it going to take for Ted Wheeler to finally wake up and start allowing the police to do their job and to fill the positions that have been vacant since I moved to Portland? I guess it's going to take bodies on the street. I guess we're going to have to turn Portland into Beirut in order for him to wake up and want to do something about it. So there you have it. There's my 2 cents. Monday morning. Take care. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear back from you. And yes, this does make me want to move out of Portland that much faster. But so far, my wife hasn't found another teaching job somewhere else. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the day. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Hi, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. Please hit the like button below, and if you would, hit the subscribe link up here, and take some time to watch one of my other videos. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day. God bless.